All right, so we're going to get started here. Go ahead and you can find a seat if you'd like, but just find a little bit of space around yourself. If you have PVC pipe, if you have bands, you can just leave them on the floor. We're not going to need them initially. We'll get to those in a second. All right. Cool, so quiet down, everybody. So we're going to go through some mobility stuff today. There are a couple of you who've done this already. I think maybe about 5 of you. Show of hands, who went through one of the last 2 mobility classes? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you're here for 1. Cool. Awesome. So some of you guys have already gone through this, but there's a couple rules that we have to go through. We are doing mobility work, specifically joint mobility. And joint stuff can be scary because there are joints, and we don't like to think about them or try to use them too much, it seems. But that's what we're trying to do today. And because of that, we're going to feel like awkward, weird sensations, maybe some range of motion that we're always not used to being in. But that's going to be something that's going to help us get better, right? Like we get better when we're uncomfortable or we're kind of working at like the difficult work in range of motion. So that's going to be what we're kind of working through today. So the first thing is kind of knowing like what are the red flags? What are the things that you definitely should like not be doing, or the stuff that might get you hurt? And really this is going to be different for everybody. But when we're stretching different joints, as we're moving different things, we're going to do a neck thing in just a second here. But when we do, you can imagine if I am moving my neck and I'm making a big circle with it going around. So I have a closing angle and an opening angle, right? And so any pain that's on the closing angle is something I should be aware of and probably want to avoid. If the pain's on this open angle, then it's probably fine, okay? In general, like work through pain that you feel okay with, and don't work through pain you don't feel okay with. So let's say I'm going around. As I get over in this direction, I start to feel some pain here. And I'm asking everyone to like go ear to shoulder. Maybe you just like not go as ear to shoulder. And then maybe I'll say, let's go back, and we're going to start to bring our chin up. And then if you feel like you can come back ear to shoulder, no pain, fine. We just keep working around. So over time, as we do a couple circles, you might feel like you can work more and more into that range of motion. And maybe there's actually no pain there at all. You just have to kind of warm up into it. So that's going to be like the first kind of red flag, or the first thing you should be aware of is don't do anything with closing angle pain, or if you do, just kind of back off it till there's not pain. Okay. At the end, there'll be time for questions. You'll just have to hold on to them for a while. But at the end, I'll be around for a bit so you guys can talk and ask questions. So everyone clear on that one? First one? Okay, good. So the other one is we have to move slowly. Like I said, we are doing stuff that's going to be like the end of our range of motion. If you guys have done stretching before, especially if you have not done a lot of it, it's not comfortable. It's not fun. It's not relaxing like people sometimes say it is. It's work in a sense. And that's kind of where we are. So when we are in these uncomfortable places, we tend to go fast because we don't want to be there for a long time. We don't want to be uncomfortable for a long time. But we need to go slow because we are basically trying to train our brain a little bit. There's a lot of brain stuff happening here. I won't get into all the science of it, but if you want to talk to me afterwards, I will. So we want to go really slow. So usually I'll cue you for like 1 mile per hour. But maybe that's your top speed. I want you going very slow, okay? So the last kind of rule here is we want to see more rotation, which we actually don't see, before we see like big linear movements. So if I move my arm this way, you all see that, that's linear movement. And if I tell you like we're gonna move our arms overhead, that's what you'll do. But you might not see the rotation that we're doing. And the rotation's pretty small, but the rotation's the really important stuff. So if I was saying, hey, we're gonna go and try to turn our arm this way as far as we can, and we're gonna try to lift that over our head, I want you to think for every inch I'm lifting it up, I'm trying to turn my arm more and more and more if I could. So I'm always trying to get more rotation before I get more movement. Okay. Does that make sense? All right, so those are kind of just like the general rules as we're moving, stuff to keep you safe, stuff to get like the most effectiveness out of this class. I think anybody have like injuries that they are worried about? We're going to kind of go top to body, doing a little bit of everything. Anybody like worried about anything? Okay, good. That makes me feel a lot better. Let's all stand up. We're going to just do a little bit of standing first. You don't need anything necessarily. We're going to do, sometimes people ask me, like, what should I be doing? Like, I want to do a daily routine. I tell them you should do controlled articular rotations, CARs. And I've done, the last couple of weeks, I've done like hips and knees and elbows and shoulders and wrists and all of them. If you've been in some of my classes, group classes, I've done a couple of these. But we haven't really ever done neck. But we're going to do the neck today. We're going to go very slow as we go through this. There's a lot of stuff to kind of look at. So I'm just going to talk through it once myself and demonstrate it myself. And y'all can just watch. And then afterwards, I'll kind of have you go slowly through it. Remember, we're going slow. One other thing that sometimes helps, because sometimes people find like little pinching pains in their neck. Remember that when we're doing this, I want you to think of we're trying to keep the whole neck tall, long, and active. So if I'm going this way, I'm not just letting my ear flop to my shoulder. I am trying to keep the rest of my body still. And as when I'm here, I'm still holding a little bit of tension on that side of my neck. I'm not just completely relaxed and dumping the tension. Okay? So when we start to do this, we're basically making a big kind of circle with our chin. We'll kind of think about our chin and our ears as we do this. So our first piece, and again, just watch for the first one, we'll go like chin down. And then with our chin down, we're just going to imagine we're looking at somebody off to our side. So I'm not going to lift my chin up. I'm just going to turn my chin, kind of bring my chin towards my shoulder or collarbone. Okay. So once we're looking off to this side, I'm still kind of tucked chin down, if you want to think of it that way. I'm going to take my top ear and bring it to my shoulder. I'm going to start to bring my chin up towards the ceiling. And as we're doing this, we want to try to keep the shoulders really level. And we'll bring the chin across the ceiling to the other shoulder. And then I'm going to try to bring that top ear down, like I'm looking at somebody over there. And then I'll bring my chin across my chest. Okay. And then we go back around. Okay. So that is going to be our little next circle. So we're going to go through that. Oh, we're going to do a couple of them each way. We're going to go through one, and then we'll go through the opposite direction, and we'll do that a couple times. Okay. So let's all start first, just very tall. Think about your shoulders, try to get them square. Some people like to kind of hold onto their arms or hug themselves, fold your arms behind your back, whatever you want to do. But we're trying to keep everything very still. So everything's a statue. If you want to like clench fists, whatever happens, fine. Okay. But try to stay very still. We're just going to get very tall and long, especially through the back of our skull, and we'll drop the chin down. Okay, so chin towards chest, but again, stay very tall. And I just want you, we're all going to go left. So let's go to our left. We're going to look over to the left side. Okay, so we're thinking chin towards our left shoulder. And now we're going to take that top ear, our left ear, we're going to bring that left ear towards our shoulder. We're going to start to bring our gaze up, bringing the chin up towards the ceiling. And now we're just going to sweep the chin across the ceiling, bringing that chin over towards the other shoulder. Okay, we're going to kind of tuck the chin and bring that top ear down. Leave the chin at the shoulder. And then we're going to sweep the chin down back towards the center. Okay, let's go the other way. So we'll bring the chin to shoulder. Top ear comes down to shoulder. Chin starts to lift. Comes across the ceiling. Makes its way to the other shoulder. Chin stays on shoulder, ear comes down. And then when we need to, we sweep the chin back to center. So I want you to do about 3 more of these, just going from one side to the other. I'm going to walk around. I'm going to maybe try to hold your shoulders level. Maybe I'll whisper a little cue in your ear. But I'll walk around and just kind of see if there is any feedback. Again, if you're feeling any pinching pains are something we want to try to work around and avoid for the most part. Stretching pains are fine. As I'm coming around, if you feel very confused and you're like, I'm not sure where my chin or my ears are, just let me know as I'm walking around. Usually as we're bringing the head off to one side, we tend to let that other shoulder lift up. Try to keep your neck really long, shoulders are down. Nice. Chin to shoulder. Bring that ear down, but leave your chin here, so ear down to your chest. No, this top ear. I want you to bring that down. Yeah. And then chin down towards center. I see a lot of thinking. That's good. Lots of thinking. We're going to do some of these at the end too. We're going to do like a little mobility flow towards the end. And so we'll be doing more of these neck circles, these neck cars. But maybe we'll add some novel movements and some kind of fun stuff. They keep that shoulder down. Shoulders are level the whole time. Just relaxed. Nice, Ash. All right, you should be wrapping up on those. So finish up where you are and come back towards center. We're going to stay standing for a minute here. We're going to do a little bit of scapular work, scapular shrug. So the scapula, that shoulder blade back there, it's kind of unique. It just kind of floats. It can move all around in all sorts of directions. And sometimes that feels confusing to us and what we're trying to do there. So we're going to just try to practice a little bit. And we might do some of this towards the end too. So let's just kind of let our hands drop. So hands out of pockets, just let them hang towards your sides. So we're going to do the thing we're really good at first. We're just going to shrug. So shrug tall as you can. Get those shoulders way up there into your ears. Good. So that's like up, right? Shoulders way up. All right. So let's try to move our shoulders forward, just as far forward as you can. Good. Okay, so our shoulders are forward in front of us. Let's let our shoulders relax and try to actively push them down. So yeah, we're still tall, but we're trying to push our shoulders towards the floor. Good. So that's down. It's not a very big movement. And now let's go back. Shoulders way back. Good. So you can kind of think about those 4 points. We kind of have like a little diamond there. Let's try to turn that kind of 4-point diamond into a circle. Okay, so we're going really slow, right? You want to feel stretches around the shoulder blade, maybe around the chest. So as you're going through that circle and you're trying to go from point to point to point, again, try to smooth and round those out. Go really slow and try to feel a stretch through all of the movement there. This is one of the places where we don't have a lot of rotation, so don't worry about that. We're just trying to see, like, how far back do I need to go to feel a stretch? How far down? How far around? And if you haven't yet, let's go the other direction for about 3 or 4. Notice if we're moving through the ribs or the hips very much. Try to keep all of that still and square. We're trying to just move the shoulder blades, nothing else. If you want to get fancy with it, you can try to do just one side at a time and not move the other one. Try to make them go opposite directions. All right, so we're going to go through shoulder cars and kind of loosen up the rest of the shoulders here. If you guys want, sometimes I recommend having PVC pipe just for a little bit of, like, not necessarily balance, but sometimes it's helpful in keeping everything still and square and keeping tension. So if you want PVC pipe, or if you're close to the rig, sometimes holding it at a full arm's length, and thinking of almost kind of like stabbing it into the floor, that will kind of help you kind of hold tension and keep the rest of the body square. Otherwise, we're going to be moving this arm around. I've done this in the group classes a couple times, so some of you guys might be familiar with this. But typically, as we're moving this arm around, this is where we're going to be looking for more rotation before we're looking for that visible linear movement, more rotation. So as we're doing this, then a lot of times the bodies will twist and turn, and we'll start to move everything else but our shoulder. So I want you to go slow and really try to make sure the shoulder is moving. Again, if you want to use one of these, great. So we're going to start with whatever hand's not holding your PVC pipe, doesn't matter which one, but let's think of thumb forward to start, just right by the side. And we're going to turn that thumb towards the outside. And we're just going to keep turning, but make sure it's just the shoulder, especially if you can think about the shoulder turning. So let's try to get that turned as far as we can, but not the chest or the rest of the body. All right, so we're going to try to keep maximizing that same rotation. So we're trying to make this tighter and tighter. And as we go, we'll kind of get a little bit looser in some areas. But we're going to go across our body first. And once it's in front of us, let's just pause. Can we turn that more? Good, okay. Make sure it's just the shoulder. Keep everything else square. Okay. Let's go across our body a little bit more. Watch the twisting. Okay. Can we turn any more? We're going to come up across the face. Keep rotating, keep rotating. And once we get across our face, I want you to go straight back. Yeah, keep tightening up. Can you tighten up any more? Let's pause here. Our hand's deformed. Let's try to, like, straighten out our hand. Turn any more if you can. Is our arm straight? Try to turn a little bit more if you can. Are we relaxed through our body? Good. So from our tight position, we're going to unwind. And now we're going to try to tighten up in that unwind position as far as we can. Okay. Now let's go straight back. Okay. Let's pause and rotate. So we should be palm up, chest tall. We'll come down. We're going to keep trying to rotate best we can. So remember, go slow. Only work where you can work. You might think that you should be able to move in some of these positions, but you might not be able to. Don't force yourself. Just go where you can. Okay? So we are in a tight position here. Let's just pause here. Try to relax the hand. Remember, we're working in the shoulder, so we're trying to turn through the shoulder. My palms to the outside, my thumbs back. This is a tight wound up position. I want my chest tall. We're going to reach back, keeping our chest up just to where we can. Arms straight, and then we'll turn to unwind, and we'll try to tighten up in that same rotation. We're going to try to go straight up towards our ear, bicep to the ear, and then coming around the face. Good. Yeah, I'll pause here for some of you guys to catch up. And we're trying to think thumb down towards the floor, shoulder square, back around. Okay, I'm going to have you guys try to do that on your own one time on that same side. I'm going to come around and try to give you guys a couple pokes to get you back online. So let's do one more. So starting from right in front, same arm, thumb is forward, and we're working external rotation, so thumb going to the outside as far as we can. And then you're going to go across your body. And again, kind of pause every once in a while and see, can I get more rotation? Can I get more rotation? We'll be coming across the face. And once we cross the face, we're going to go straight back. We're not going outside the body, just straight back. A little bit closer here. So I want you thinking back there. Once you get tight and you can't reach any further back, then we're going to unwind and try to get tighter in that position you just went into. And go straight back if you can, straight back. And keep turning, pause and turn, palm up behind us if we can. Coming around to palm to the outside, thumb back, big chest in the front. And then we'll work backwards. So lifting the thumb, keeping the chest tall. It should feel like it's winding up. Just reaching straight back until you can't any further. Once you can't, straight arm, rotate to palm up, thumb down in a way, and we'll come up behind our head towards our ear. Okay, and we're going to go across our face. Yeah, we should be palm up like we're holding a tray of drinks and working towards thumb down towards the floor, thumbs behind us. Okay, let's go ahead and we're switch to the other side. You should feel a lot of jointy sensation. It'll be like blood flowy, maybe kind of tingly, but not quite like nervy. So switch sides to the other side. Yeah, shake out the arm if you need to. And we'll start with that open hand, turning that thumb forward. It's the exact same stuff we did, so I'll cue you through it, but if you feel like you can work through your own, try to work through your own. Body stays square, and we're going to go across the body. Almost imagine we're trying to turn that thumb down, palm towards the outside. We're going to go across the body and sweeping our biceps across our face as we go. Go at your own pace, so don't feel like you have to keep up with me or stay where I am. And remember, once we go across the face, we go just straight back. And once we feel, keep those ribs down when you're here. Once you feel like you can't go any further with the rotation, we unwind. And then we go straight back, keeping our chest up and tall. And keep rotating, keep rotating. There's a lot of rotation back there that we usually have. Cool. Once you come down to arm by your side, remember, it should still be tight here. You should be like thumb back, palm to the outside. Keeping the chest up and tall, that should feel a little difficult as we reach our hand up behind us, reaching that thumb up. And once we can't move that arm any further, let's turn it. Yeah, we're palm up, and we should be able to go up over our head. Bicep coming next to our ear, turning more if we can. Going across the face. Let's get two on that side to match the other one. So working at your own pace. I'll keep walking around and try to keep you guys looking like you're just moving shoulders. I'm here to help. Okay. So feel where you are. So we're here. Let's even drop this hand a little bit. So I want you to feel like relaxed. Yeah.
Okay, I feel a little tight.
I know this is not yoga. People need some other stuff sometimes. So cool. So there's lots of space here. Equal on that side. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go this way. Good. Stay tall. Stay tall. Across the body. Good. Keep these ribs in. And keep your hips forward under you. Okay. So once we're here, and I want you to think close this way. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. Good. Keep the ribs down. Mm-hmm. Now turn. Good. Now just try to reach back. Try not to twist. Reach back. Good. And more if you can. There you go. Very nice. Good. As you're moving, just check in with like your ribs. Think about ribs between hips, and what's the space there? It should be symmetrical. What's the spacing here? It should be symmetrical. So we're going to move towards the wall. Man, I was not expecting so many. I don't know if we have enough wall space. I thought for sure with a wall we'll be fine. You can do this without a wall. If you have like a partner that you're with or a buddy that you're with, they can kind of help you a little bit here. You guys can both work on your own. But the wall is kind of just like a nice physical block. So I'm going to show you with the wall. You guys can kind of share the wall. We're going to do both sides. We're going to use one shoulder then the other. We're going to kind of be working in like this position here. So this is kind of the position that's stretched, the thumb down, kind of working back here. A lot of you might realize that's not an easy position. You don't have a lot of it. So that's kind of what we'll be working on. If you want, you can kind of gather around so you can see me demonstrate this, and we'll all work through it together. If you don't mind, Shaggy, I'm going to borrow this. So we'll be using PVC pipe. I'm going to demonstrate it with the wall, and then I'll show you how it works without the wall, but it's the same. You won't even really need a demonstration, I'm sure. So since we're using the wall, it's going to be like the same side hand is going to be next to the wall, not this outside hand. And I'm just going to grab onto my pipe, straight arm. I'm going to kind of block myself into the wall, not tremendously. I don't need a stretch here. I'm just trying to limit myself from moving too far outside. Yeah. So just trying to move back. So once we kind of get a straight arm, pipe's on the floor, I'm just going to walk my hand up a little bit. And again, the whole reason the wall is here is so that I don't work outside where it's easy, but keep it in line. So once I kind of get to a place, and some people will just be here, once I get to a place where I feel there's a little bit of a stretch, I'm going to lift. We're just going to hold. We're going to do like a 5 count and down. Okay? So when we do this, when you lift, I don't want you to lean forward. I want you to try to stay really upright, really tall. Lift, hold, and when you put it down, soft, controlled, gentle. Okay? Not hard. Yeah? So that's all we're going to be doing is this here, thumb down, find that little bit of stretch. If you feel like overdoing a couple sets of these, that we can move up a little bit, move up. That's it. So the wall here is just to kind of keep you blocked in a little bit. You don't necessarily need it. If you feel like this is really challenging for you, if you feel like you have zero awareness of your body maybe, that's not a polite way to say it. Now you just got called out. Go ahead and use the wall. Otherwise, use the floor space around you. PVC pipes. If you want to have a buddy kind of hold on to it for you, they can, just to kind of help. But we're just kind of putting that pipe behind us. And then we'll walk our hands up. Arm should be straight. Thumb is down. Chest is tall. So we're just going to sit here for a second. We're just going to stretch so everyone can get into position. We're just going to kind of find like just a very mild stretch. But we also want to just kind of check in mentally. Is this a place where I could lift this pipe up maybe? If it's not, we'll move that hand down just a little bit until we think like, yeah, I could probably lift that up. Okay? So we're going to try to keep ourselves tall and upright. Maybe use that front leg to kind of push against. Okay? And then maybe even use that opposite arm to kind of push into your leg. And now let's lift, hold, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly back to the ground. Okay? Let's just sit there for a second. If you feel like you want to make an adjustment of moving that hand up or down or changing torso angle, go ahead. Let's go ahead and lift again. So up, 4, 3, 2, 1, and soft. Good. We're going to do 3 more. So make any adjustments you need to. Let's go ahead and we'll lift. 2, 3, 4. And softly down. Good. And let's lift. And down. And last one, let's lift. And down. Okay, so we're going to flip around, do the other arm, thumbs down, same thing. When you get to your position, we're just going to stay stretched there for like 30 seconds or so. We don't need a lot of time. We just kind of want to relax into it, feel if we need to adjust the rest of our body. Good. So yeah, just kind of get all settled in. Again, find the right position for yourself where you can kind of push. We want to think about being able to push with that front leg a little bit. I want you to also be able to keep that back foot on the floor if you can, best you can. Okay, so get yourself prepared, big belly breath, and we're going to lift. 2, 1, and gently back down. Good. Make any adjustments that you need to here. And let's lift. And down. Good. And let's lift. And down. Let's see, can I turn thumb down? Yeah, try that. And lift. Keep that chest up, stay tall. Only that shoulder moving, right? We're trying to isolate that. And down. We got one more. Let's go up. And softly, softly, softly back down. Cool. All right. So you guys can just kind of set the PVC off to the side. Shoulders should be feeling maybe a little bit worked, maybe a little bit looser, maybe just blood flowy and tired. We're going to grab our bands. We're going to find anchor points around the gym for kind of an overhead piece. So the bands, again, it doesn't really matter. They are really just kind of there as a target. So we'll just find any place to tie off. It can be up on an overhead bar. It can also be on a post. So it doesn't have to be up there. If that feels tall, hook it onto one of the verticals. Doesn't make a huge difference. We do want it about head height or higher. So we're just going to kind of get ourselves loosely situated somewhere like this. We're going to be making sure that when we start that our arm is actually straight here, but it doesn't have to be necessarily since we're just relaxed. And we'll kind of be thinking about like roughly a karate chop position for the moment. Okay. So we're going to turn our palm, so we're going more palm up, so we're kind of turning to the outside. We'll start to straighten out our arm, and we're just going to get into a little bit of a stretch. I want you to find this stretch not by leaning into it with your body. I know that when we do this, sometimes we put our body into it, but we're doing this differently. We don't want a lot of tension on the band. We want the band to be very light on tension. But we do want to feel like we are finding the stretch. So for me, that's about here, but I notice I have almost no tension in my band. I have a little bit of movement, and that's what we want. Okay? So my goal now is I am going to see, can I, with my arm straight, can I make a very tiny circle? This is basically the forward end of my circle. So I'm going to trace a circle going backwards and coming back to maybe just that little bit of tension on my band. But it's a small circle. The rest of the body stays still. So it's not a circle where I can demonstrate me doing this. And maybe if this is really hard and I'm feeling like I can't do it with my arm bent, maybe I come back a little bit to where I can still make a small circle and pull my arm back, right? And still be able to make a good circle. But ribs stay down, everything stays tight. So that kind of forward position where that band has a tiny bit of tension, that is almost our relaxed position, and we go into a tighter overhead position, make a tiny circle, and go back to where that band can kind of catch us, and we can almost relax for a second, but still in a stretch, right? So we are working at basically the very, very end range of motion here. Arm is straight, ribs stay down. So I want you to get about 4 circles one way, 4 circles the other way. So if you haven't gone the other way, go the other way. The band is basically there as a guide so that we don't cheat and go forward to easy places, but that we are really working in the areas that I barely have access to. And so we don't want to feel like we are ever kind of working out of a place that doesn't feel really tight. All of this should feel like you are thinking really hard about trying to control that. You should have a very non-stoic face. You should be getting ugly. So again, a good like 3, 4 circles both ways. We'll switch to the other arm. Try to focus on straight arm, straight arm. We don't want to be working through the elbow or wrist. We are trying to make that shoulder articulate. If you're coming back to a karate chop hand, let's try to go back to more open, palm up towards ceiling. And then try to work there. Remember, we're working for more rotation, not the circle we're making, but more rotation of the joint. So work towards like you're trying to high five somebody behind you. And 3 or 4 circles each way. So position, everything looks really good. Let's see. Let's take just like a small step forward. Like move your feet. Yeah, just there. Good. Okay. And I want to see, can we work a little bit more in that position? Okay. Now, good. Keep these down. Keep these in. Stay tight. There you go. And try to turn that thumb back more. Yep, that way. And try to maximize that as much as you can, and then make your circle. But really try to turn and twist that thumb as you can. So once you guys gotten your couple circles on each arm, again, both directions, 3 or 4, both arms, both directions, you can come out of your bands. Where did I put my notes? I don't know where I put my notes. That's okay. We're going to come out to the floor. We're going to start to do a little bit of hip work. Where did I put that? Go ahead and find your yoga mat. Oh, yeah, that's where it is. Thanks. Go and find your yoga mat. We're going to do a little bit of hip work here. We'll kind of work away from our shoulders for a little minute. Oh, that's where my mat is. That's okay. Hopefully y'all can see me over here. So we're going to do a little bit of some hip work here. I'm going to be kind of laying down, so feel free to kind of gather if you need to. You can do this from like a laying back position. Maybe that'll be easier for y'all to see me. So we're just going to do kind of this crossover stretch. I think a lot of you kind of know this kind of stretch here. So let's just kind of find maybe a very mild version of that for yourself. So I just want you to find a really mild version of whatever stretches kind of the outside of your hip. It's kind of this tissue here. Okay. So once we kind of find a mild stretch, let's try to put that knee down just a little bit. Let's just try to like get this parallel towards the floor, parallel towards our shoulders. Good. So that might deepen your stretch a little. Okay. If it didn't do too much, and we can go a little bit further, I want to go a little bit further. I want to find something that feels like it's now getting close to like maybe 70%, 80%. Okay. So once we are in that position, we feel like we're pretty tight, we're going to try to freeze our leg in that position. So I want you to hold your leg in that position, and we're going to start to move that other one away. Oh, yeah. Good. Just hold that. Oh, we'll slide that leg back in. Whew. Okay. Maybe make some adjustments if you need to. All right. So find whatever position you need to, and maybe to give it a little check, see, can I pull my ankle a little bit? Can I hold that ankle there? That's okay. If you can't, try to. Just try to hold that ankle there. Maybe as you try to hold your ankle there, it just slides with your leg until this position, and that's what you got. That's fine. Okay? So let's kind of find whatever stretch we have. Remember, we're going to push that knee a little bit towards the floor. Just that hair. Okay? We feel a little bit of a stretch maybe. Let's try to leave that ankle wherever it is and move that leg away. Good. It doesn't have to go super far away. We're just going to hold it there. Keep going. All right, let's catch it. Pull it back in. Whew. Whew. It's a lot of work. Let's do that again. All right, let's kind of tighten up. Find that stretch if we got it. Okay, hold your leg there. Slide other one away. Yeah, try to keep that knee away from you if you can. Ankle towards you, knee away. Good, pull it back in. Let's do one more. Yeah, take a second. Okay, so let's try to push that knee away from us just a little bit if we can. Just some tension. Just tension is all we want. We're going to try to hold that ankle in close. Maybe flex your abs. Take a big breath in. Hold that ankle close. Yeah, let's keep holding that. Good. Stay there. Stay there. 3, 2, 1. Oh. Okay, cool. Let's just like let that hip go for a second. Yeah, I'm going to give you like 10 seconds, just whatever you need to do. We're going to go to the other side. When you're ready, take another couple breaths. Then we're going to go to the other side, repeat, same thing. that's not the other side for me. All right, so let's kind of just find whatever position we think might work for us for a second. Get yourself comfortable. If you want to, if you feel like you need to do this in this position, you can do it in this position if this feels better for you. Yeah. So kind of play around with it. But let's just give a little check. Can we kind of maybe lift our ankle a little bit? And if not, that's okay. Maybe we can just try to hold our ankle there when we slide our knee away. So we'll push that knee just a little bit away from us, try to square up those legs, make them into a 4. Okay, hold your ankle in place, flex your abs, hold your breath if you need to. Good. That other leg doesn't have to be work. The other leg is just moving away. Pull that back in. Okay, make any adjustments you need to. Okay, we're going to try to hold that ankle right where it is. And let's come back and catch that leg. Okay, and find your tension, grab onto the floor, big breath, lock it in. Hold that ankle close, slide that other leg away, and just enjoy. Yeah, stay there, stay there. And we'll catch that. Cool. We'll let that go for a second. So yeah, just kind of let those legs go or stretch, move them around, shake them out, whatever you need to. All right, so we're going to kind of come into this other kind of figure 4 position here. So this leg doesn't matter too much. Whatever you want to do with this leg is fine. Mostly we're just kind of getting into a stretch here. Let's all kind of start here first. Make sure we're not cheating. Okay. So we want to keep our tall posture. So if we can sit upright. But we have to be able to keep our posture tall. Maybe we feel a stretch here already. If we already feel a stretch here, great. We don't really have to do much more. Okay. If you don't feel a stretch here yet, then you maybe lean a little bit forward, feel a little stretch. Doesn't have to be a lot, a little bit, but again, we want to be able to find movement. So we're trying to find somewhere where we still have movement, but a stretch. Okay. We don't want to cheat by dropping our chest. That's usually what happens here. So we're really focused on staying upright and staying tall. And we're just going to imagine that we have maybe like a quarter, or maybe something a little bit taller than a quarter. Anybody know what a pog slammer is? Yeah, maybe one of those, a big thick one, yeah? So for the 3 people who know what I'm talking about, great. If you don't, I just want you to think that there's maybe something about like an inch or so tall, maybe about the size of a quarter, and it's just on like the inside or outside of your foot. We're gonna start with the outside of our foot, okay? So we just got like this little tiny post here, that tall. All right, stay tall, don't let your chest collapse. Take a big breath, we're gonna lift up that leg, we're gonna put it over on the other side of that, we're gonna set it down with control. Okay, we're gonna lift it back up, come back over and down, under control. We're trying to be silent if we can, okay? Let's go back and forth, 3 more. Lift, hover, over, lift, hover, over. As you do these next 2, notice, are you changing anything up here? Try not to change anything up here. We're only trying to use the hip. If you need to make it easier by leaning back, moving away from the hip. But I want you to work in a place where you feel like you can do this, maybe with hands off the floor and using just the hip. Yeah, you're going to cramp. Those muscles that are cramping right now are ones you don't know how to talk to very well, especially when they start to get to these end range motions. Your body is kind of short-circuiting, like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what this is. What are we doing here? Okay. If you have completed those couple lift-offs, those little hovers over that imaginary pog slammer, you guys have to Google that later. We'll switch to the other side. So let's just kind of take a second. We're just going to kind of stretch again, leg kind of straight out in front of us roughly. This leg doesn't matter, so if you want a little bit more open and outside, if that just feels better for your position, that's fine. We're just trying to find like a little bit of stretch on our hamstring here, keeping ourselves tall in our posture. And maybe if you felt like you could do that last set without your hands, you can do that last set or this set without your hands. Okay, so we just have that little object to the outside. Okay, take your breath, stay tall, up and over and gently down. Okay, we're going to just go in to out 5 times. Nice. So the range of motion here should be pretty small. We're looking at like an inch or so clearance off the floor. All this is in that really hard, sticky work where it feels like it's a lot of brain work too. So it shouldn't be, I mean, it is physically intense, but it should be about equally mentally intense. We're honestly like creating new neurological connections and teaching our body how to like activate these muscles at that end range of motion that they don't like to do. Typically at the end range of motion is when we get hurt. We get to the bottom of a squat, our hips collapse, our back collapses, and we get hurt. And that's because we get to those end ranges, things need to stretch, and everybody's like, that's hard. I don't want to do that. And so it doesn't. And then instead of your hips doing what they need, your back does what your hips need to do. And then we get hurt. So kind of think about this as you guys are going through mobility, as you're doing your warm-up stuff. Like we definitely want to be trying to feel those joints working. And when we're doing our mobility work, we want to do that work. We're spending the time doing it. So do the quality work of trying to articulate that joint, make that joint feel like it's torquing and rotating and wrenching in place. Yeah. So we got a little bit more here we're going to do. We're just going to kind of go through a nice little flow. So let's just all kind of sit upright, maybe cross-legged. But we're just trying to get really square up and tall for a second. And we're gonna go back through like those neck cars that we started with. So we're just gonna kind of like loosen up the neck a little bit. I like to have my hands on my knees here and almost just give like a little bit of pressure so that I can start to feel if like I'm lifting up my hands and starting to like shrug my shoulders as I'm doing my neck cars. So kind of think about the space you have here, maybe trying to like keep a little bit of pressure on your knees with your hands, just so those shoulders kind of actively stay down. So again, we're going to drop the chin. And I'm going to go to the left side. So we're going to go chin to our left shoulder. And our right ear is towards the floor as we're doing that. So I'm going to leave my chin at my left shoulder. I'm going to bring my left ear towards my shoulder, lifting my right ear towards the ceiling. And I'm going to follow with my chin, bring my chin up towards the ceiling. And I'm just going to start to sweep my gaze across the ceiling, leaving my shoulders down, bringing my chin over to my right shoulder, ear to my right shoulder first. And the chin will rotate to meet the collarbone. Then we're going to drop our left ear towards the floor as we start to sweep the chin back to center. Let's keep going that same direction. So we're going to go chin towards collarbone on the left side. We'll bring the left ear towards the left shoulder, bringing the chin up. Trying to look overhead, chin up towards the ceiling. Inward towards the right shoulder, ear to shoulder. Bringing chin to shoulder. Bringing ear down. And chin back to center. Okay, we're going to go the other way. So starting from chin down, chin to right shoulder, bringing right ear to right shoulder, bringing the chin up, bring the chin straight up towards the ceiling, over to left shoulder, leaving chin at the left shoulder as we start to bring that right ear down towards our chest, and sweeping the chin back towards our center line. Keep going, same direction. So chin to the right shoulder, right ear comes down, chin's coming up towards ceiling, chin over towards left shoulder, chin stays at the left shoulder. Start to bring the right ear down towards the chest, and sweeping the chin back towards center. And we'll come up. Good. Okay. So we're also just going to go through a couple little shoulder rolls here. Same idea of kind of what we've done before. So we'll just go like to that forward position. We'll try to round out as we go towards up. Try to go back and down. Back forward and up. So just big, big circles. Let the hands kind of glide around your legs if they need to. Just do like maybe 2 or 3 each direction. If you haven't switched directions, go ahead and switch. All right, so let's just all come back. Just relax here for a second. We're going to take our arms. We're going to take them behind our back. Turn away from you for a second. So we're going to take them behind our back. And we're just going to start to bend at our elbows. And just imagine like trying to reach our middle fingernails up our spine, just to wherever we can get to. Okay? So once we're there, we'll probably be a little stretch. Let's try to pull the hands off the spine. Okay? Should be really tight, keep the chest up. And we're gonna start to just unwind and turn the hands, turn the elbows, turn the shoulders, we'll come up overhead. Try to keep turning, much rotation as we can get, and we'll turn back in. It's like we're trying to reach our index fingernails to our spine, keeping the chest tall. Let's unwind. Try to pull the elbows away from the ears as we go up overhead. Turning the thumbs, turning the elbows, turning the shoulders. Turn as much as you can. Get those elbows away from your ribs as far as you can. And thumbs up, middle fingers up the back. Good. Let's go hands off the body. Turning, straighten out, chest up, stay tall. Turning the arms and hands. Turning where we're going to reach into the backpack behind us. Turning as best we can through everything. And again, trying to reach the index fingers towards the center of our spine. Pull those elbows back. Let's go back one more time. Hands going up, turning, turning, turning. Rotate, 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 rotate. I'm trying to reach those middle fingers up the back. Good, and we'll slowly relax. Come out. I'll flip around. Ooh, that should feel good. All right, let's just lean back for a second. Put our feet flat on the floor. We're gonna walk our feet out to the sides just a little bit. And let's just start by trying to take one knee. We're just going to try to reach one knee down towards the floor. Go ahead and let the foot even come off the floor. Just kind of let that knee come down. Good. We'll just kind of let it hang. We should kind of feel a stretch. Let's take the other side. Just going to push that one to the side too. Good. If this other one comes up, that's okay. We're just going to try to really reach one knee towards the floor. Let the other one just kind of follow. Okay. And if we flatten out on that side, great. So let's all get to a place where we have one knee on the floor. And if we're fully upright on the other side, if we're not, that's okay, it doesn't matter. So right now, we're trying to actively keep that knee down. So keep that knee down, squish it against the floor. If you have to, I even want you pushing hard against that. If I come by to lift it up, I want you to not let me lift it up. Keep it glued down. Keep that one glued down. Let's move this one. Keep good tension. Push the other knee towards the floor. Keep it on the floor. Good. And when you feel like it can't go any further, let it move a millimeter. So if this one moves a millimeter, the other one moves 1 or 2. So let that one side give up a little bit, but only if the other leg's moving until it gets to the floor. Good. And once we make contact, we can bring this other side up. Just let it relax for a second. We're going to go back the other way. So again, keeping this one knee in contact, keep that held down. Drive that knee towards the floor. And once it can't open up anymore, you can let that one side come up. But again, let it come up a millimeter. And then see how far that one can move. Let it come up 1 more millimeter. How far can we get the other one? 1 more. Can we get to the floor yet? 1 more. Are we there? Maybe another one. Okay, let's go ahead and relax once we've made contact. We're going to come into a position here. So we're going to probably be leaning over ourselves. Some of us might have to lean over into this kind of sideline pose, which is totally fine. We're going to be thinking about kind of this trail leg here. Okay, so this kind of back leg. We want to have some movement in this area here. Okay, and that's kind of what we're trying to move. So I'm going to try to pick up my whole leg. Some of you guys have done this with me before, trying to pick up your leg. Yeah, so we want to be able to do that. If you can't pick up that trail leg, move further away from it, and that should be easier. But we are only trying to make enough movement to clear PVC pipe. Okay, so if I can do this, that's too much. I want to be somewhere where it's, oh, yeah, that feels like it's about as much work as I want it to be. Okay, make sure that's not just the ankle, but the knee coming up too. The whole leg. We're going to pick up that leg, and we're going to imagine that there is that big pog slammer. I'm going to keep mentioning that now. We're going to put it right behind our thigh here, and we have to pick up our leg and move it to the other side. Then we're going to stay there. If we can do this without our arms, even better. Pick up that leg, move it to the other side. Put it down gently, and if you can put down the knee first, then the ankle. Good. So a good 4 or 5 there, just kind of picking up, hovering over that imaginary object, coming back. Okay. And we'll flip ourselves over. And we'll just repeat on the other side for 5. Same thing, kind of find your positions. And remember, we're just working right here. Let's try to pick that thing up. Good. Remember, you're trying to feel that hip. Feel where that hip is. Make that hip rotate. Make that hip socket, that hip joint, feel like it's screwing in and torquing into that hip joint. That's what we want. Got to talk to the hips. All the joints, really. Once you guys finish those, it might be nice to kind of come back to that kind of position we started a second ago and just kind of go side to side with hips if you want to. But we're done. I'm done for now. That was a lot of work. It's a lot of you. If you guys have questions, like if you discovered things about yourself today, that's very common. Come talk to me about it. Otherwise, yeah, I'll be around for a little while. I know that some of you guys are probably sticking around to do some lifting. So, Eli, are you covering open gym? Yeah, Eli will be here for a while for open gym. Maybe he's doing nap time. Eli will lead nap time later. So we probably won't do this on Sundays, but I do this on Wednesdays. So every Wednesday, it's usually capped at like 10 people because we just have to be shoved back into the corner. But if we can get like this kind of turnout, then I can push for more space and more time. So thank you guys. Like I said, if you have questions, if you just like want to express feelings, like I'm here. So I'll be here for a little while. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
You're welcome.
So, you should try and do them every Sunday before yoga. I like 8 or 9
Oh
a.m.
yeah.
So that way
That's
it's
an
not
idea.
like a canceling.
Yeah.
Especially like 8 or 9 a.m. would be perfect.
Trying to figure out would it be better before or after yoga?
I'd vote before.
Probably would be better before.
I feel like noon's like 11.
Well, I mean, we could just move yoga before and flip flop times. But I'm just trying to figure like physiologically what would make the most sense before doing like stretching. But this would probably be better done before you're doing yoga. So yeah, if you guys can just make sure your bands get put away, PBC gets put away, all that stuff.
What time on Wednesdays do you do mobility?
5:15.
5:15
p.m. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like 30, 40 minutes. Whitney, right?
Yeah.
How was it? Good.
I was like, I got to one point, I feel like my like sternum kind
Oh.
of popped.
Yeah.
or needed to pop, but everything else is great.
Okay.
I definitely like noticed the differences in like the right side because I have scoliosis.
Oh yeah. I do
Right
too.
shoulder, right hip, horrible.
Mhm.
And then the left side, I'm like, oh, this isn't bad.
That's how mine is. If I don't hold my posture, then my
Yeah.
shoulder droops and I
Oh
turn
yeah,
and twist
and then
this
like
way.
the lines in your jeans are always like off to the side.
Yeah. Well,
That's funny.
cool. Yeah, I'm like, how did Victoria talk you into coming? Just tell you to
we
come.
were just chatting this morning. And she's like, "There's a mobility class this morning. Do you want to come? It's free."
Oh,
I'm like,
easy
okay.
sell.
Yeah. And she's told me a couple times. She's like,
Okay.
"You should drop in." I'm like, "Okay."
You should.
Yeah. Right now, I'm just lifting at a.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, I mean that's whenever I like meet people and tell them about stuff, I'm like, you should, if nothing else, like do strength training. Like yoga is great, Pilates is great, you're running, all that's great. But like the thing that most people need that they're not getting is strength stuff. So
Yeah.
that's always what I'm like, wherever you go, like just try to do some strength training. Lift some weights. That's so important.
Yeah.
So
Cool. Well, yeah. Thanks for.
yeah, of course. You're very welcome. And come drop in, like for a real class.
I'm gonna try to get her to spend all the time here.
No, this was just on. I think it was. Yeah, I felt right when I came in. It was on. I don't know if Eli or Taylor put it on,
Oh,
but
sure wasn't Eli.
oh.
Actually, Elijah's client, that girl that goes here.
26 miles up.
She did. She did. Really good. Lumineers are amazing. Yeah.
And I just knew it'd be very chill music, but it's not like yoga vibes.
Yeah.
It's still-
No, it was perfect. When it was on, I was like, I don't need to change it. Like I'll just leave this. It'll be great. So, oh, I should make sure my phone's recording.